So, obviously I did a video a couple of hours ago when it had first been announced that Marco Silva had been sacked, but we were still waiting for that official announcement, statement, from the club, which we've since seen to give us a little bit more detail, and the club have announced that it will be big Duncan Ferguson who takes charge of the game versus Frank Lampard's Chelsea at Goodison Park in less than 2 days' time this Saturday. Now, I know that it's been a conversation amongst fans for a while now, because he's been in the coaching staff for a good while now. I know people often will say, what is it that he does? But one thing we do know, and I think that we're all in absolute agreement on, is that we love Duncan Ferguson. For what he did for us as a player is just, my favourite memories, around Everton, most of them involved Duncan Ferguson in some capacity, whether that be him strangling Stefan Freud or his goal against United, his goals against United. I particularly think of that one against Manchester United, the season we finished fourth, that 1-0 at Goodison, the night game. That'll forever be one of my favourite ever games. So there's no doubt in terms of what he does, what he means to this club, for what he did as a player, and somebody he just absolutely loves this football club. He's got the badge tattooed on his bicep, for goodness sake. He loves it, and I certainly would not want to be one of those players going into the dressing room had I not give 110%, knowing that you were going to go and face him after the game or at half-time or whatever. So I think the board know how fond Evertonians are of Duncan Ferguson, and I think that will have played a factor. Obviously, the fact he has been a member of the first team coaching staff for a good few years now as well. But I think the main reason is that they need the fans to be right on side. They need Goodison to be rocking. They need us to be up for it. And they know that we love him, so that's exactly how it's going to be. And we'll get right behind that team. Despite that atrocity of last night, that terrible performance, it was embarrassing. And the players were poor. They were far from good enough. Everyone knows that. But that doesn't mean we're not going to be behind them. It's what we do. Especially now, a change has been made, so I think we're all in agreement that the time had come and things needed to change. Obviously, it's Duncan in charge for Saturday. However, I don't know whether that's going to be, if that'll end up being more than one game. The club said they want to announce a new permanent manager as soon and as swiftly as possible, or some words to that effect. So you'd imagine now that all their attentions are going into securing this person, getting everything sorted and finalised so that they can announce a new permanent manager as soon as possible. But as I say, it is going to be Duncan Ferguson for Chelsea. I've just finished doing all my radio bits and bobs, had an interesting chat on a few stations, but 5 Live, they actually had Curtis Davis on as well, Derby defender who of course played for Hull City under Marco Silva, and it was interesting to hear his thoughts. And he said, maybe the reason things he did well at Hull was because the level wasn't as intense, the players weren't as good. Maybe they were buying into more what he had to say and listening. Has he struggled to get certain players to buy into his philosophy and his tactics and everything else? You just don't know. But it hadn't worked out. Wish him the best, as I said earlier. I just think he was out of his depth. But yeah, we'll all be there on Saturday. We'll all be right behind the team, no matter what we get put through, what we go through as Evertonians. We're going nowhere. It's in our blood, isn't it? And we'll be there. We'll be right behind Big Dunk and the Blue Boys. So yeah, more coming soon.